Yes, everybody, welcome back to DR Sports. We are live at 5 for the transfer show, as we are every day, Monday to Friday. I am joined once again with Laurie and Kwame here to talk about almost an Alexander Isak special, pretty much. Because in the last, 7-8 hours, especially since we were recording earlier on today, it's the transfer world's exploded.
It has.
Alexander Isak. I'm your host, Dylan, as I have been every day this week, and I'll be here tomorrow as well. But I really want to touch on all the Isak stuff, because you've been saying both on camera and off camera that Arsenal haven't said that they're out the race. So reports have come out that Man United, shockingly, aren't in the race because we have no money. Other clubs aren't in the race. Obviously, Saudi Arabia, I think he said no to Saudi Arabia. He wants the Prem move, potentially the Liverpool move. But you think that Arsenal should really be testing the waters for him, Laurie?
Yeah, because if you look at the statement that Isak issued, he said he wants to explore options. Options means more than one, right? So everybody's assuming that it's going to be Liverpool. But, you can say that Liverpool are the front runners, or would appear to be the front runners, but we don't know for sure. So my thing is, if the Arsenal are the club that we think we are, one of the big boys, let's test it. Let's test Liverpool's gangster. Let's see if they really are about that £130 million life. Let's see if something can work here. You know what I mean? Let's get Isak and his representatives round the table, because apparently we've spoken to them before. Let's see how serious he's about leaving, where his head's at, where he wants to go. And the other thing I would add on that is that when people say, oh yeah, but we've got Gyökeres already. Oh, that is true. Yes, we have Gyökeres already. But you've only got to look at the Swedish national team, right, of which both Gyökeres and Isak are both Swedish. And you'll find that they play together for Sweden. So if they can play together for Sweden, they can play together for Arsenal.
I'm going to come to you, Kwame, for this.
Yes, Mama.
Do you think you even have the facilities to get Isak? Do you have do Arsenal have the aura,
the resources
to out get him from Liverpool? Do you have the money to do it?
I believe we do. Just like how Liverpool have kind of been quiet in the previous transfer windows, we haven't spent as much as we should have. When you look at in terms of the financial state of our club, we're one of the richest in the world, as we've been told. So why not exercise that muscle? Why not exercise our right and actually just have a conversation with him? It might not just be now. It might be a season later. We don't know, but I don't think we should just write ourselves off straight away. And as Laurie said, if it's a thing where he hasn't specifically come out and said, right, I want to go to this team. Look at how Gyökeres was. I only want Arsenal. That's what he said. He made it very, very clear. If Isak wanted to stay at Newcastle, he would have made a statement by now and said, no. Look, I want to stay at Newcastle. I love it here. But clearly his head has been turned. And the question now is to the big clubs now. Who can turn his head? Bring him in, mate.
That's true.
It's like Love Island, man.
It is, isn't it? It is. I did say.
New bombshell. Seven weeks in. So, for those of you,
is for turning.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was going to say. So for those of you who maybe don't quite know what's going on with Isak, maybe you had a long day at work. You've been doing whatever. The latest is. So Fabrizio Romano has said Alexander Isak has informed Newcastle of his desire to explore moves and leave this summer. Clubs are aware of his players' plans and will now decide what to do. Newcastle have already restarted exploring a move for a top striker in the market. Isak is not at their pre-season camp, which is over in Singapore, so he's a long way away from the rest of the players at the moment.
Interesting, yeah.
And obviously Newcastle play Arsenal next.
Sunday.
Interesting. Saudi team Al Hilal are gearing up to bid £120 million bid, according to Alex Crook from TalkSport. Newcastle also owned by Saudi. I don't know if that's some sort of like Newcastle using another club in their sphere to put a price point. Because 120 is almost the exact fee that Matisse was talking about earlier on today when we were on the weekend preview show. There are reports that Liverpool will put in a bid for Isak and they'll need to do a record fee. And since then, obviously Newcastle's response, they're back in the market for a top striker. They put in a £25 million bid for Wissa a few days ago, but it's just come up that Newcastle are also exploring a move for Benjamin Sesko.
Ooh.
Yeah,
and this is I believe it's David Ornstein has said that. So that's locked and loaded. Whatever David Ornstein says is fact. We all agree on this. So Sesko, and on Sesko, Fabrizio Romano also reported earlier on today that Sesko has a gentleman's agreement with Leipzig that a special set of clubs, does not says who, but there's a special set of clubs who Leipzig say they will be willing to accept £60 million plus around 10 million in add-ons, so about £70 million.
I wonder how they define the word special.
This is it. I think
Yeah,
I think it's a case of Sesko will have a list of clubs that he's said to Leipzig and go, please be fair with these lot. Don't know if Newcastle is on that list though.
Is that an agreement that's just been made, or is this something that previously happened?
It's just something that Fab's reported in the last hour or so.
I don't know if it's a thing now. Is it a thing where maybe Sesko's sat down and spoken to his agent and said, look, we've missed out on Arsenal now. I don't want to stay here any longer, so let's make an agreement and just say these are the list of teams or clubs that I'd like to go to. Maybe they're kind of wounded because they probably thought Arsenal were really going to go for Sesko. Although we was very interested in him at the time before Gyökeres came in. I think maybe they've learnt their lesson. They're like, you know what? Out of all the teams, who would you rather go to? I just don't really like it. I just don't like the way, like I said, if you compare the two, even though the Gyökeres deal was kind of long-winded for us as Arsenal fans, I like the way how it kind of like transcribed, or it came out in the sense that he wanted to be with Arsenal. With the Sesko deal, it seemed very like there were so many obstacles that were put in the way. I don't really want to be dealing with players like that. So it'd be interesting to see what is on or what teams are on that list. In all honesty,
I don't think Newcastle's one of them. Well, I don't think it is.
Why not? They've got the money.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Sesko's put them on the list of his agent.
I would imagine one criteria would be a Champions League club
potentially, but I think what it is so Sesko's agent, if I remember correctly, came out a few weeks ago and said Sesko will only be leaving Leipzig for a special club. That was literally the term that they used, for a special project.
Newcastle's a special club, no?
I think it can be if Isak leaves. I think maybe they wouldn't have put. Sesko wouldn't have put Newcastle on this special club list with Isak there, and them going for Ekitike.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
I think now that Sesko's gone,
I don't think outside, and this is no disrespect to Newcastle fans.
They're going to come for you, Laurie.
They are. But if I'm being honest, I can only be honest on these shows. If I'm being honest, I don't think that Newcastle would have appeared on that list. However, as we've seen in transfers, things change. I mean, a week or so ago, we were being told by Eddie Howe and one or two other prominent people at Newcastle that Isak was, quote, very happy. So what's happened in the space of a week or two? I'll tell you what's happened. Ekitike signing has convinced Isak that maybe I need to move on. You know what I mean? His head's been turned. There's no doubt about it.
Liverpool are playing 4D chess right now. I said it before.
I don't think they are.
Yeah,
I think they're just buying players that are good.
No, but I think they know it's a win-win. They can afford to get Ekitike and Verts, etc. And they're like, you know what? Let's exercise our rights as well, and let's see if we can get Isak. I just think because look how it's unsettled everything now. The fact that he's been linked to them. So either way, like you said, Laurie was saying as well, just off camera when we was chatting, he said, look, Isak's not going to be able to go back to Newcastle now after that. If he's saying he's exploring his options, are Newcastle going to be like, yeah, come back to us, it's fine, don't worry about it. Come and score some more goals. They're going to be like, no, you're a traitor. You turned your back on us as a club. So I do feel for the Newcastle faithful, but yeah, I think Liverpool are being smart because either way, they'll probably end up getting him.
Oh, I think he's so odds on to go to Liverpool.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry to burst your bubble here, Laurie, but I think Arsenal have a 1% chance, 99% faith.
I think it's a bit more than one. I think it's a bit more.
Imagine we do get him though. Imagine.
Because like I said before,
amazing.
It wasn't that long ago that we were being told that Isak's representatives were courting interest from Arsenal for the player. So I think it's incumbent upon Arsenal to go back to them and say, well, actually, since we last spoke, things have clearly changed. Let's have a chat with the player.
I think it's 100% in Arsenal's best interests to at least figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
Because we can't sit there with the reports and read it and assume that's what's actually happening.
No.
Like as you said a few weeks ago, Isak was like, I love Newcastle. Now it's something like, no, I want to leave. Singapore, no.
So,
Get me to
like
London.
I said, it's incumbent upon us to explore.
Yeah, I mean,
the man said himself he wants to explore options. He didn't say Liverpool. He didn't, you know what I mean? Like Kwame said, he didn't do a Mbuemo or a
Gyökeres or
a
Cunha.
Gyökeres or a Cunha and say, look, I want to go to Man United or I want to go
Or
to
Kudos.
or Kudos, I want to go to Tottenham. He said options.
Oh, that was so cringe.
Yeah, it was. It was very cringe.
Yeah, I
Said
think,
options, so let's see what the options are.
I think it's a little bit like, when you're on Hinge, you can send a like to that standout person on your Hinge. Doesn't mean they're going to reply, but you may as well send it. There's no harm in it.
Exactly.
Do you think Sesko is Newcastle's best possible response to this?
Yeah.
I think it's certainly one of them.
I think it's Newcastle's summer has not been a good one for them. They've missed out on Cunha, they missed out on Burmo, they're losing Isak, they missed out on Wissa. They got Alanga, but of all the options, Alanga probably they wouldn't have wanted to be their highlight signing. Is it definitely a way for Newcastle to say both to the Premier League and also to other signings that go, just because we had a bad couple of weeks in the window, just because we signed our best player, don't count us out of this yet, because they've got Champions League, they've got they want to be in the top 4, top 5 in the league. They're going to be looking to retain their Carabao Cup win. They're going to be looking to try and win the FA Cup.
If I was them, I might even put in a call to Nicholas Jackson's representatives, because I could see that working.
Do you think that's a better option than Sesko?
That's a fool, isn't it?
Because I would say Sesko's maybe a bit more of a statement, because he's been linked. So Arsenal were so really wanted him. He's been linked with all these big clubs for a number of years.
I think the advantage you have with a Nicholas Jackson over a Sesko is that he's played in the Premier League for the last couple of seasons.
True.
So he's ready to hit the ground running, bang.
But
Whereas Sesko is a young lad, don't get me wrong, he's clearly a very good player, clearly has potential. But I would imagine it's going to take time for him to assimilate himself into the Premier League.
But at least then it shows for the signings that, or for the new signers like an Alanga, or if Isak was to stay, that Newcastle are trying to do big things. You don't want to just say, we're taking part in the Champions League, and then you're going to get knocked out the first set of rounds or whatsoever. So I think he needs to be kind of courted in the sense of, right, we are a big club, we're going to bring in all of these big players. But I just feel like out of all of the top teams at the moment, Newcastle probably got the least amount of pull. In terms of, is it an attractive thing for them to go?
I reckon it's an attractive thing for Sesko. I'm thinking about this. Guy's 22. It feels like he's been around forever, Sesko, because he's been a big name in the market since about 17. But he has a big move left in him, and it would be, if he was to come to the Premier League at Newcastle, he wouldn't have as much pressure as if he was Arsenal's number 9 or United's number 9, or let's say Liverpool. He won't be Liverpool's number 9. These kind of clubs. But what he will have is the exposure of the Premier League, so be a little bit less pressure, but also he would be there in the Prem. It may be hard to prize him out of Newcastle if he does well, because if they're paying 60 million for him and then he does well, they'll be probably asking for like 100 million or something, or 85 million for him. But it could be a move for Sesko to step up, because I don't even think Leipzig are in the Champions League next season. They're not, and Newcastle are. So he could maybe class it as he's still stepping up from Leipzig, but he's also leaving room for a further step up down the line after he hopefully for him, proves himself in England.
I still think that there is a lot of pressure. If Isak was to leave and Sesko was to come in, the fans would be looking at him and saying, all right, cool, are you going to be the guy for us then? And if he doesn't hit the ground running, that's where the Newcastle faithful will probably put a lot more pressure on him. And the one thing I kind of looked between the two strikers when we was looking at Sesko and Gyökeres was the mentality of them. Gyökeres seems like he's that mentality monster, that he's not afraid of having the world on his shoulders. Sesko doesn't strike me as that guy. And you need to have big personalities, I feel like, if you're going to play at Newcastle. Can
he not develop that while at Newcastle?
Will they have the time? Because then that means then Eddie Howe's going to be running out of time, because then they'll start looking at Eddie Howe and saying, right, you've had X amount of time with us. Yes, you've got us in the Champions League. Yes, you've won us a cup. Thank you very much. But are you going to lead us to challenge for the Champions League and the Premier League? Because that's what ultimately why they've got the high investors involved.
But at the same time, no matter who Newcastle sign to replace Isak, they're going to be worse than Isak, because there's very few strikers, if any, on the planet that are better than Alexander Isak. Yeah. So almost in a way, as soon as Sesko joins or whoever joins to lead the line for Newcastle, there's already an acceptance that you're not going to get what you got from Isak, which then gives them more time.
I do think though that the fans, they're good fans of Newcastle. They will get behind.
They'll get behind, but
coming.
okay, maybe then it's not the pressure is on Sesko. It's more on Eddie Howe. They'll start to look at Eddie Howe and put pressure on him because they want success. Newcastle want this, and they deserve success with the amount of years that they've been in the Premier, etc. But I just think it's going to be interesting. It'll be a shame. It's a shame for Newcastle to lose if they do lose Isak. But if I was him and a big team came knocking, you would go. What person wouldn't go? What player?
I think it's the timing though, isn't it? Because initially he said he was very happy, and now all of a sudden he's not so happy.
I'm very happy you mentioned this because big up David Wooding, Super Chat, has said the timing from Isak to explore other options now is bad from him, especially if he wants to join a team that is competing for the Premier League and Champions League. I only see Saudi doing the deal if he wants 300k a week, maybe Liverpool if they sell players. I think I agree. I think me, you and Matisse all mentioned this earlier today, is we think what Isak is doing now is that he's making up for being too soft earlier in the window. He was saying, I think he was maybe sitting there thinking, I'll be nice and cordial, but privately make it known to Liverpool or whatever that I'd be open for a move. But in public, I'd be cordial and I'd be blah, blah, blah. And then that's led to people and clubs not necessarily going in hard for him because he's not doing his part to help get out of there. And now that Liverpool have signed Ekitike and Arsenal have got Gyökeres and other teams have starting to get their strikers in place without him, he's now gone, oh crap, I need to take a much harder stance here and get myself out of Liverpool. And that's why I think he's now gone from one way of being maybe too soft with Newcastle and being too perceived to be happy to stay there, to now going completely the direction and going, I want no part of this. No pre-season for me. Get me out of here. Get me somewhere else.
Do you think it's actually to do with the money? I don't think it's to do with the money.
I don't think it's a massive money thing. I think he wants
obviously
more money.
The money will be a
the money
helps,
factor. But I think he wants to win, and he deserves a player of his caliber. He deserves to win big titles. He deserves
the chance to compete for them,
right?
Sure.
And play in these high quality teams. No disrespect to Newcastle again, but he's looking around and he's like, am I going to be left behind? Am I going to be a Harry Kane? Yeah. He doesn't want to be a Harry Kane at Spurs, not at Bayern Munich, at Spurs.
I've got to say, the super chats are definitely doing better question asking than me. But before, make sure you get the likes up. Let me check. What's the ratio at the moment?
Thanks for the
What's the ratio? We need more likes. Get them likes up.
What's wrong with you lot?
Come on, keep them coming. We've got
history.
This is what?
do you know what? You know what strikes me, Dylan, as well, is that everyone seems a lot more excited about Isak than Gyökeres, like the Gyökeres deal. Why are you not happy for us, for Arsenal fans? Why are we?
Who's you in this scenario? What other Premier League rival fans?
Just in general, just seems like everyone's just really excited about this news. Like, we have finally secured our striker, people.
Yeah, but the Gyökeres thing got boring. It's like the Mbumo thing.
Now.
No, it got boring because it took so long. The Mbumo stuff at United, that got so tedious. It was 7 weeks in the making. But Ashley JO1 at 8181 has asked the panel, what message does this send to other big players in the squad like Gordon and Bruno Guimaraes? Which is a fantastic question.
I mean, they've done well. They've built themselves up. They've built their brand up in the squad. But Guimaraes, again, he's a player that you can definitely see him playing a bigger club. Again, sorry Newcastle, but I'm just saying he can play levels higher. We was interested in Guimaraes a long time, and he's had a lot of good performances against us, and he's done very well. He's very consistent in that midfield against alongside Joe Linton as well. But he's probably looking at it and he's thinking, you know what, I'd like to have a piece of that. I want to go and win.
Got some other breaking news, not football related.
Go on.
Hulk Hogan
what?
has died.
Oh, no
71.
way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, just come through on my phone now.
Oh, my gosh. No way.
Yeah. He's not that old, is he?
Nah.
71.
Oh, that's sad, man. What a legend. What a legend.
Anyway, yes. So,
Sorry, the wrestling.
Sorry
fans.
to interrupt with that bad news, but it just came over on my phone. It's all right. Anyway, with regards to the other leading lights at Newcastle, they must be thinking to themselves, whoa, you've got to question the ambition of the club, haven't you?
Is it? Because was it were all of us thinking that Isak was going to stay until his 30s at Newcastle?
No, but they're thinking at least had another season, or not another season, a season in the Champions League with a full squad. If you're one of the leading lights like Guimaraes, he's captain, right?
Yes.
You'll be thinking that, you make a full tilt at the Champions League. You never know how things are going to
But
run.
at the same time, what if Newcastle bite the bullet and they go, fine, you know what? If Isak wants to go, we're going to sort this out in the next 5 days. 5 business days' time, you're going to be doing Liverpool medical. We've got 120 million in the bank.
Yeah.
They then turn around to these guys, to Tonali, Joelinton, Bruno, and everyone, and go, right, we're going to sign 4 new players. We got our new striker, Sesko.
All right.
We just brought in a big name talent. We're also going to bring in a new this, new that, new that. We got rid of Isak, but we now have 4 upgrades, 3. We now got a striker in Sesko and also 3 upgrades in other positions. Are they still going to turn around and go, ooh, maybe we go out? Or have they gone, this team have reacted really well. We've got 4 new players in the squad, and we can now have got a bigger squad to compete in the Champions League and the Premier League.
They should have done that from when you see how Liverpool have done their business in this transfer window
Early.
very early. I think it was like a day after. It was like, oh, Frimpong's here, medical done. That's how Newcastle should have been moving for those players to say, you know what, yeah, okay, they're going to do big things. I think it's taken a bit too long for Newcastle, and then obviously the players that they were targeting have been prized away to the respective teams, your Chelseas and whatnot. João Pedro, that would have been a great signing for them. But like I said, there must be a lack of pull for Newcastle because they haven't managed to get any of the players apart from Elanga.
Yeah, no, they have had a bad window.
That's their level. Maybe that is their level, and that might be a message to the likes of Tonali and that, and saying, you know what, let me use Newcastle, because I believe that they just said, you know what, let me use Newcastle as that kind of platform to get my name out, to get my stocks up, if anything, and then I'll pull off a bigger deal in the next season. I think that's what, and Isak done the same.
That's what Isak did, yeah.
Yeah, they took a punt on him. They said, look, he's got a few injuries, he's injury prone, etc. But they were saying, you know what, if we get him fit, he can get a certain amount of goals, which will help us. It's paid off, obviously, for Isak.
I'll tell you what this does
not
to
Newcastle.
as well, and it's something that the Newcastle fans, and no doubt Eddie Howe and the hierarchy at Newcastle are worried about, is that it does leave those other players at Newcastle now, you know what I mean, at the very vulnerable risk of being tapped up by other clubs now. Because the game has changed, isn't it? When your best player's gone like this.
Yeah. Effectively,
you're Guimaraes,
setting
Anthony
you back,
Gordon.
innit?
No, not so much setting you back. They're looking at it thinking, well, maybe it's time for me to listen to offers. Isak's doing it. Maybe, you know what I mean? Because make no mistake, other clubs will test them in that regard.
Yeah.
They will say, oh, maybe it is time to have a look at Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
Because the you know what I mean, the situations have changed drastically at Newcastle.
Personally, man, if I was United and I could take one player from Newcastle, it would be Tonali. In terms of what we need, we put Tonali in that midfield. Season changing.
If you put him in any
Marcus Ward has said, another super chat, big up, has said, reported by Indy Kylia, who's been top of this for weeks, as well as Sancho Tagliafieri, I think that's how you say it, that Isak told Arsenal and Chelsea no weeks ago. I've not verified
I'd heard
if
that
they've
as well.
been said.
I heard that.
But as per Marcus Ward, the chat, I've got to say, the chat is very much doing my job for me today.
Ian
Thank
Wright, Thierry Henry, get on the phone, call up Isak, and I guarantee you.
Why isn't Thierry Henry your director of football, man? Do you know who's saying no to Thierry Henry?
Exactly.
Why is he not your director of football?
It's a good question.
He stinks as a manager, but the director of football, his pull would be class.
Of course, he's got a world pool.
I'm not sure if a job like that would serve his ego. Not at this stage. Maybe as he gets older. But
Maybe.
I think Henry sees himself as that managerial type figure.
I think he might need to give up on that one. Dan Arena has said, logistically, Diaz, Nunez, Chiesa on their way out. Jota tragedy with Ekitike. We still only have 3 dedicated attackers. Isak will be the 4th attacker. Isak in. Yeah, I don't see there is the conversation topic of you've just bought Ekitike for what was it, 80, so it was 69 million plus add-ons.
Yeah.
Why are you doing 120 for then Isak? Yeah. But I can see it. It's because Liverpool. It's the Nunez one for me. Yeah. It's the Nunez one where I'm like, if he goes, he was your striker. If he goes, There's
He was
so
gonna
much
go
space
anyway.
there. Because Ekitike then ends up being in the role that Nunes had last season of he's not starting every week, but he's a striker there. And Isak then just starts up top first game of the season.
But maybe they'll do a deal where Newcastle will do a deal with Liverpool where they do a swap plus add-on fees for Nunes. Because Nunes would be good at Newcastle as well.
No, I don't think Newcastle should sign Nunes.
Yeah,
Why
I don't
not?
think
Because there's better options out there. I would say that Wissa, Sesko and co are all, and even if they were to go and get like I mentioned the guy this morning, the Porto guy, Samu, even if you just get him this morning, I say they're all better options than Nunes, because Nunes has proven himself to be an unreliable Premier League outlet. At least with the others, they've not proven themselves to be unreliable yet. They may not prove themselves to be reliable, but I think Nunes would be too much of a risky side, because he's also 27, 28. Nunes.
He's scored
Correct me if I'm wrong,
already
chat.
in the pre-season though. He's looked quite sharp.
It's pre-season, man.
He's looked quite sharp. It was just the finishing. He always got himself in the positions. It was just the finishing for him. If he works on that, I guarantee you, whoever he goes to and he works on that, people will turn around and say, "Oh yeah, he's actually a good player, isn't he?"
26.
He's 26.
Nunes,
He's still fairly
26.
young. You go to a club like Newcastle, you can revive your whole season. All it takes is one goal for a player like him to get his confidence. It's the lack of confidence as well.
I think I said that about Højlund 5 times last season.
No, but Højlund doesn't. He's got potential, but not like Nunes. For me, I feel like Nunes is an all-round better centre forward. He's just that he lacks that confidence. And when you're around world-class players like Salah, obviously Luis Diaz as well, it is very difficult for you. If you're not hitting or firing on all cylinders and you're being dropped, you can't really find your groove. So yeah, Nunes to Newcastle would be actually quite good. That might sweeten up the deal for them. That might make them
it does say
bit-
Larojos, sorry, I've definitely butchered that, has said in the super chat that Craig Hope says that Isak's priority is Liverpool. I think everyone knows this. I don't think Arsenal have a sniff in it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, really.
You don't have a sniff in it, Laurie. I'm sorry to tell you.
Well,
You can
we don't
drink.
know that for sure. We don't know that for sure.
I
I mean,
mean-
listen, realistically, Liverpool are in pole position to get his signature.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think it's
It'd be one of those
would
things
be
where
remiss of Arsenal
Arsenal, I
not
think
to
you're
at least monitor
hoping on some breakdown.
No, but what I'm saying is this: it would be remiss of us not to at least monitor the situation, because we've spoken to him before.
Yeah, ask, 100% ask.
Yeah.
But don't
Yeah.
expect anything.
No, I mean, listen, and don't forget. I mean, I think Kenya. Shout out to Kenya. She made a very good point in a previous show I did on LL Sports with Quams, and we were talking about this, and we were saying that, you know, as good as Isak is, there are other areas on the pitch now. Now that we've pretty much got Jokeris in, the left side of the attack needs to be bolstered. So we need a left winger. That is probably our priority now that we've got Jokeris. But what I'm saying is, and I think me and Quams agree on this, is that we should at least monitor the situation, because if there is a way that something could be worked out and we get Isak, I would take him without any shadow of a doubt. And when
100%.
people were saying,
I think
said it
every
earlier.
sports fan in the world would say that.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, people say, "Oh, you got Jokeris." I said, "Yeah," and because Jokeris and Isak played together up top for Sweden, and that works.
and they score a lot of goals.
Exactly. And so why wouldn't it work for us?
I don't think anyone's saying that it wouldn't work for Arsenal. I just think that it wouldn't happen. Right. Jack Grealish.
What about it?
Interesting future going on. Apparently, well, as it's written here, Manchester City and England winger Jack Grealish, 29. He's 29. Damn.
Yeah.
Is one of several left-sided players being considered by Napoli, as per Corriere dello Sport. Do you think that Grealish's best decision is to go out of England, or because I know he's been linked with Crystal Palace, or is it potentially better for him to go and be back to being that role of big fish in a small pond in a Premier League team like he was at Villa?
I see a lot of English players, or a lot of English talents are going abroad. Scott McTominay, we've had Jude Bellingham, and even Kevin De Bruyne has gone over there. Napoli, I like, obviously with Conte there, and then you look at the type of managerial style that Conte has, the type of individual that Grealish is. He needs someone very strong to kind of get him under his thumb, and I think like Conte would be good for him. Whether Grealish plays ball, that's a different story. It's a shame. I think I was listening to like TalkSport or whatever earlier this morning, because they were talking about Grealish, and they said he needs to kind of step it up as well. It's not just talking about Rashford, the likes of Rashford, but Grealish, he had it all. He has it all, but somehow he hasn't managed to be consistent at the top. And obviously, when you look at the talents that Man City have brought in, he's not getting a sniff in any sort. So, yeah, I actually thought, again, Newcastle fans, maybe a Grealish at Newcastle would be good. I would think that's all. Yeah,
but if they sell Isak, they need a striker, not a winger.
but still, I think it will still be a good signing to get, because he's obviously a great player. He needs to have like that free role. Newcastle would benefit from having him, and then obviously you add a Sesko to that. I think that's
I can see that as like Champions League depth. And
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
across the squad.
you'd have presumably you'd have Alanga on one wing, Grealish on the other.
Yeah, then you've also got
Gordon,
Harvey
and then
Barnes.
you've
Well, then you've also got Barnes and Gordon as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
for across the four competitions. I can see it.
So yeah, no, I think it'll be good. It'll be good for him. I think I just didn't like what was going on outside off the pitch for Grealish in terms of is he controlling his drinking? Is he having too much of a good time?
His habits.
It's his habits, yeah.
Refueling habits.
Yeah, you're refueling
That's the late
habits.
Bobby Robson once said.
I mean, I don't. Mind
I mean,
the
with
beer or two.
Grealish, let's be honest. I mean, it's been a pretty woeful last couple of years, really, hasn't it? And he does need to get his career back on track. I think maybe a move out of the country might benefit him. The only thing I would say about that is that it would require a whole new sea change in attitude from Jack Grealish, because he doesn't strike me. And listen, I'm trying not to be presumptuous here. Doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's going to want to like buckle down, learn the language and stuff like that.
He's like the Gascoigne. He reminds me of
Yeah,
Gascoigne. He
he-
reminds me of
he-
George Best. Like, they're great footballers, but they also have that other side off the pitch
Yeah.
where they.
I'm
do-
not having you putting Grealish in the same conversation as George Best.
They know.
I'm
what
not
I
having
mean.
that
They know what I
one
mean.
bit.
George Best used to love his drink. No, yes or no? He used to enjoy whatsoever off.
Yeah,
off
but
the
George
pitch.
Best was still an elite footballer.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, on that side, he was one of the players that, as much as he was good on the pitch, he was great on the pitch. Of course, he was a legend. He did enjoy a drink. He did enjoy partying. That's similar to what Grealish does. You can't really get away with it nowadays. You maybe have been able to get away with it before, decades before. It's not the same now.
The rumours are out there, innit? Let's be honest. The rumours are out there that Jack likes to enjoy himself. He's been caught short a couple of times. I remember during COVID times he got himself in trouble a couple of times.
Exactly.
And the rumours have never really gone away. The man does like to enjoy. He's a tremendously talented footballer.
Yeah.
However, you know, there is that other side to him, as Kwame alluded to. Maybe going out the country to somewhere new might help
He's
him.
achieved
It's
everything.
working. It's going to work for Rashford.
Yeah.
So maybe-
Rashford and
maybe-
Grealish are two very different
But
characters.
I mean, in the way of like you're away from the noise of England.
Yeah, maybe he needs a change. He's won everything with Man City. Maybe he needs a change. He needs a new challenge, and that would be a good place to start.
Imagine anywhere in Europe they could have pubs and bars. So
We've got
so
a
it's down to him at the end of the day.
Yeah,
let's be
yeah.
a
honest.
super chat talking about the name of Victor Gyökeres, where it says it's Gyökeres, not Gyökeres. Watch Sporting Day in the Life of. He said his own name. It sounds very Butu, Jamaican term for the panel. No, I'm not. I don't.
Listen,
know.
we all know who we're referring to.
We know
right?
who
Yeah,
we're
everyone
talking
knows.
about.
Yuck.
I'm not
is what it is.
Swedish and I'm not Hungarian. So I know that
Breaking
Gyökeres or
news here.
whoever, he has Hungarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Leandro
Descendants.
Sella said Prem team moving cash mad.
All right, you know
Isak
what?
to
We'll call
Liverpool
him
plus
Victor.
Rodri. Victor,
How
Vicky.
about that? Call him Victor?
VG. We'll call
VG,
him-
I don't mind VG.
Yeah,
You know? Prem team's moving mad, says Leandro Sell. Isak to Liverpool plus Rodrigo and Eze to Arsenal would be crazy title fight. In your opinions, are City falling behind if these happen? I don't think so, because they did their. I think people have
They did
forgotten
do some
how
good
much
business and all in there.
Oh, yeah.
the players that they said, because City they've dropped off the radar completely because they came out, they got knocked out of the Club World Cup after doing their business early. They're all now on holiday. They're on their holiday phase, so there's no pre-season, there's no transfer action or anything for them because they did their transfers and they're not playing.
Well, there is one piece of transfer activity that potentially could impact City. There's who's it preparing a bid for Rodri.
Very, very
yeah,
good
yeah,
segue
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So Real Madrid are apparently ready to offer £100 million for Man City's Spanish midfielder Rodri, but I would like to put the asterisk that this is being reported by The Sun. So,
Are you saying it has no credence?
no, I'm just saying that that's who's reporting it.
Right. Doesn't quite have the same feel to it as
That's
Fabrizio,
that's
does it?
one of the ones where I feel like maybe wait to see what else is said, who says it.
It's
Because
not
100 million
Fabrizio.
bid for Rodrigo at 29, for Rodri at 29, doesn't sound like a Real Madrid thing to do.
No.
They don't like giving contracts to anyone over the age of 30 or 30. They have like a rule of like no more than 2 years or something if you're over the age of 31, 32. So dropping 100 million on a 29-year-old who's just come back from an ACL. Ballon d'Or winner, but he's 29 and he's just come back from an ACL.
Yeah.
I feel like
I mean, I did
if
hear
Madrid
the
were to
news.
go in for a midfielder, they'd be looking elsewhere
I would
Looking
have
at
thought,
number 10. They're
other
looking
than
at number
Rodri.
10.
But
I
even,
would have thought
even in terms of the caliber of player that they try and sign
Yeah.
in that position, dropping 100 million on that when they could go to another Spanish club, probably play a lot less for maybe a less established player that they can then grow instead.
Yeah. True.
I don't know how much I'm believing that. So final results of the Isak poll. As far as the chat goes, 4% chance he goes to Saudi,
Yep.
6% chance that he goes to Arsenal,
Oh,
10% chance he stays at Newcastle, and a big old 79% chance that he goes to Liverpool.
That's all the Liverpool
And also
fans.
2,200 votes. Thank you everyone
Hey,
who's
fantastic.
who's voted. Make sure keep smashing that like button.
yeah. Is there
Keep it
2,000
coming up.
likes, people? Is
It's
there
not 2,000 likes.
Come on.
And clicking that poll is just as
it.
easy as clicking that like
Come
button.
on, man.
So, over to Man United. You know, the greatest team in the world, of course. Xavi Guerra from Valencia, I don't know how to say his name, you can correct me if I've butchered
Yeah.
that, has apparently rejected an offer to renew his contract with Valencia, and Man United said to be monitoring the 22-year-old Spanish midfielder's situation, say Marca. Now, before, there have been reports surrounding him and United that I've been hesitant to believe, but Marca are a little bit better, and I quite like him. And we just need a midfielder so badly. And I am getting a bit worried about United. I know I say that now after all the things that's happened, but it's just we haven't sanctioned the sales. Like I still believe that the 4 players we want to sell in Anthony, Malacia, Sancho, and Garnacho, they all will go, but I'm now becoming fairly worried about what they'll go for and who they'll go to.
Right.
Actually, no, who they'll go to is less so, but it's more what we'll sell them and also when we sell them. Because if we end up doing a quick fire sale with 3 days to go in the window, that means nothing to us because it means we have 48 hours to get 3 transfers in.
Yeah.
And we really, really, really need a midfielder. Badly.
Yep, you
Yeah.
do. I mean, I heard Flex was talking about this the other day on a transfer show, and he was saying that it's all right getting the likes of Koeman and Buemo in and 1 or 2 others, but unless they address that midfield area,
Yeah.
then you're going to be in trouble. Because let's be honest, the midfield even
Big hole
area
in the midfield.
is a big part of the team.
Casemiro.
I always say that matches
a 1.
are won and lost in midfield. So if
Yeah.
you don't have a midfield fit for purpose, you're going to struggle,
Yeah.
regardless of the other personnel you got. So
Yeah, I feel like that's an area that United have kind of neglected, and it's probably been one of the key areas where they've lost a lot of games. They attacking wise, yes, all right, Xerxes, Garnacho, etc. may not have done the best with your Rashfords, your Højlunds, but it was more the midfield. There was always a gaping hole through that midfield.
Big, large hole. Yes. The thing is as well, is my number 1 pick for midfield over anyone would be Carlos Balbella from
he's a
Balbala,
baller.
have you say his name?
Yeah.
From Brighton.
Yeah.
He's a very Baleba, sorry, there you go,
yeah,
thank you.
Baleba.
He's a very rare midfielder, and I think kind of one of the last of a dying breed.
Casado.
Cameroon international, and probably friends with Mbumo and Mbumo. Oh, I keep doing that. Mbumo and Anana. Well, that's part of the reason Mbumo, like Anana, was played a role in bringing Mbumo in.
really,
Yeah,
so
he
does
did.
have some use then.
Yeah, he got one. It's worth it just for that. It's worth it. For that. No, but but the thing is he's what 70 mil this summer, I think, and we can't afford that. We can barely afford a meal deal at the moment. So what I'm thinking is potentially go and get a striker this summer and find someone on loan in for midfield, and then drop however much money Brighton want for him the next summer.
Unless Chelsea end up going for him or something.
Which is weird because
Chelsea
years ago,
frustrate me.
the likes
Sorry,
of
yeah, go
Baleba
on.
would have been like fighting to
Yeah.
get to Man United.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just shows that United how much they've
Fallen
dropped off.
from grace.
I think this summer is the one summer where we have issues in terms of using our name to bring people in. Because Cunha's come in, he was a Boyd United fan, And Mbumo said the same. He said, like, my first shirt was United kit. I had a Ronaldo kit. I always watch United games, blah, blah, blah. But then the younger generation now who have grown up watching us post Sir Alex Ferguson won't be looking at that and necessarily thinking that. But if we were to have a good season next season, then we can just use that as we can be like, A, we're Man United, and B, we're past our lowest now. Obviously, this is all. I'm hoping that we're past our lowest. I don't think we can get any lower.
Yeah.
But in the way of this summer is the one where we're just saying to players, we promise that we're going to get better, but it's hard to give any evidence of that because we just finished 15th, and there's questions around the manager and if the system and everything. But next summer, if we do well, let's say we get into the top 6, top 7, we just have a consistent style of play and we do all right in the cup competitions, and we prove that we've taken the jump from being 15th to being there, like back in there a little bit more. It's sad to say and it's ridiculous to say, but it is just the truth right now what's happening. But if we can say to them, look, we've jumped up the table in there, we've jumped up in people's expectations, and we've jumped up in in our ambitions for next season, that will then be a much better selling point than this season. So in terms of getting someone like Carlos Baleba, it might be better waiting for next season, proving ourselves to these, not specific to him, but like for these players who like are in their early 20s and are now going to get their moves to big clubs, and then doing well next season and then showing that we're actually on the right track again after 10 years of just absolute insanity.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
That's my position on United in the market, but we do need to sell players badly. Really need
Arsenal need to beat Man United on the first day. After that long speech about them falling from grace, there's no way I can have it where we lose. Just on the flip side, I just saw we've announced our new player, one of our new players, Mascara. Welcome to Arsenal.
Only about a week late after you already finished.
Come through. We're waiting for the Jokeres video. People.
On that though, that is a very good signing.
It is very good.
I've done my research on him. Very good player, young,
very good defender, solid.
Yep, has all the attributes: pace, power, strength, good on the ball, young,
and I think
right-sided centre back.
Yeah, right-sided centre back. Kenya touched on it as well in our previous show where she was talking about the fact that the injuries cost us a lot last season, and that was never addressed. And I feel like Arteta's addressing that. And he's like, right, if Saliba was to be injured, if Gabriel was to be injured or suspended, who have we got to fit in? Now, Kivior is lovely, fantastic, great assist yesterday, Kivior. But is he that guy that's going to solidify your centre-backs or solidify your defence when you're missing one of the two best defenders that we've got in the Premier League, to be honest? So yeah, Mascara, welcome, my friend, welcome.
I got nothing to say about it.
I'm loving it though. This is amazing.
Right, we do have one more piece of transfer news about Douglas Luiz. So apparently West Ham will so we spoke about West Ham earlier. We were saying they could be in trouble. But West Ham will rival Everton in the race to sign Douglas Luiz from Juventus after Aston Villa pulled out of the race to re-sign the 27-year-old Brazilian midfielder. Do you think that Douglas Luiz could be aiming higher? Should be aiming higher than a club like that? Or do you think after, because obviously he was great at Villa and he went to Juventus, had some injuries and kind of his reputation, so to speak, and PR or whatever you want to call it, dropped off a bit. Do you think maybe at 27 he needs to come back to the Premier League to almost reprove himself to then see if he can get one more big move? Or should he be aiming higher as a player this summer?
He should be aiming high as a player. I think it just goes to show that everyone wants to play in the Premier League. It is one of the best leagues. It is the best league in the world, in my opinion. And you got the World Cup on the horizon, a lot of competitions coming up. They want to feature in it. Now, whether that be obviously playing at Everton or whosoever, Villa. Douglas Luiz, I really liked him before. And I really liked him as a player. And
you guys were big fans of him, weren't you? Yeah. I remember in 2023.
So it's a bit of a shame. I think going to Juve probably wasn't the best thing for his career. And if he needs to come back here to kind of make a name for himself again, then fair enough, by all means do that.
I would imagine the likes of a West Ham and stuff like that.
West Ham would be good. Yeah. They would take him in. Yeah, it would be a good replacement, to be honest, for losing Kudos. Yeah, I think so, with Douglas Luiz. But
he is a good player, there's no doubt about that.
No, he is.
How old is he now?
27, they said.
He's not that old, really.
Yeah.
Well, we were linked with him. So initially, before Juventus changed their sporting director or like general manager, whatever they call it over there. We were linked with him because United were talking about a Anthony Douglas Luiz swap.
Right.
But and then Anthony's priority is now Betis, and when their new general manager came, Juventus' new general director, everything came in, they didn't want Anthony anymore, and so those talks stalled. And then we were talking about Juventus in a Sancho Luiz swap, and then it kind of came out that United would rather the cash. But then now the Sancho to Juventus thing is on hold, and Jadon Sancho.
You don't like him?
I didn't
Nice guy.
start this sentence wanting to talk about him, but I think I may as well talk about him now.
Yeah, go on.
You're not
I
a man
don't know
that get
what's
easily
going on,
irked,
man.
but I noticed that every time you mention him, you
Because
have
it's
a frown envelops your
the
face.
whole
when you start.
Sancho thing is a bit like a fever dream, because we spent 2 years chasing this guy when he was at Dortmund, and we finally got him, £73 million fee, and it was like, oh, finally we got him, and blah blah blah, one of the world's best young players, all of this, all of that, and it just it feels like it almost immediately collapsed into just chaos and carnage,
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean-
now we can't even fleece him for 20 mil.
Yes.
And he's 25.
He's worth 28
and you
mil,
think
right?
like a player who's was in the Man City academy, smashed it at Dortmund, went back to Dortmund and did well at Dortmund again, and then was at United, and he's only 25 and stuff, and you can't even sell him for 15-20 million.
Yeah, it's a shame what's happened. I mean, when he was at Dortmund, you
was
saw
on
some of the
fire.
stuff he was
Yeah,
doing.
and he's
He was
also
on fire.
fighting people in comment sections of Instagram posts.
Yeah, I've been hearing
And
about
it's
that.
like, it's just like,
You know what
are
that
you
tells
doing?
me? A lack of maturity.
The whole thing just kind of stinks a bit, and it's sad because he was so good, and I was so excited when we signed him.
Still young, 25.
This is
though.
what I'm saying. He's 25, and you can't find a club to take a punt on him for 15-20 million.
Yeah, because it seems
all.
like his attitude.
Because it's not like Chelsea didn't want him.
Three
They offered him a
goals-
contract. It's not like they just said to him, no, we don't want you. They offered him a contract at about 150 grand a week.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his stats now from last season. Obviously, 3 goals, 5 assists.
It was, I think, 5 goals, 10 assists in all competitions,
Yeah.
including a goal in the final. He scored a
Yeah.
lovely goal in the final.
He did.
It's just...
It was that move to. I think him moving to United was probably the. I'm not saying obviously to United fans, but I'm saying it probably wasn't the best decision. But when I remember, that's when Ronaldo was there, isn't it? I feel like he kind of looked at it and said, "Okay, yeah, the club's going to take off," and he thought, "I need to be around that success. I need to be as close as I can to Ronaldo."
Well, that summer we signed Ronaldo, Sancho. Actually, I don't know if if this was all the same time. I think Ronaldo, Sancho, and Varane or something.
Yeah, and that's not bad as a young player.
No, I'm definitely lying. But no, I remember that summer being really good.
Yeah. So Sancho probably looked at it and thought, okay, this is the turning point for Man United. I thought, oh, they're doing big business here. But again, the management wasn't there. The culture's lost, and then Ronaldo went, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of fallen to pieces.
There's also been some links, Tottenham linked with Manu. But I just want to put it out there that is not happening.
Ooh.
That is
I can't
not.
see- I can't-
That is not happening.
Clarence Seedorf of the Premier League, he's one of a kind. What a player he is. Such a shame that we haven't seen the best of him under Amorim, but the potential is there.
He's had a lot of injuries. In
He has had a lot of injuries.
I explained
Yeah.
this morning in the weekend preview. It's just he's had injuries at the key times where Amorim was making big decisions. So when Amorim first came in, he played a couple of games and he got injured. So when Amorim was sorting out his squad, initially like his first impressions, Manu was on the treatment table. Manu came back and then started playing all right, and then Amorim started praising him. So Amorim's always said, oh, he's a great player, player, all of that. And then he got injured again.
Yeah.
And then he came back again, and then he got injured again. And so it's like he didn't play last season. Everyone's like, oh, does Amorim not like him? Does he not fit in the squad? Does he not do this? Is he going to leave? Is he going to
But
relax his
wasn't he
contract?
playing
Chelsea
him out of
interested in him?
position as well? He wasn't playing him in his...
There was one half where he tried him as a false 9 because we had no strikers. Well, we had Højlund. But it was 45 minutes against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But and then he stopped it after 45 minutes. I'm so confident that Manu is good enough that he will find his way into this team no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he can
Because
find
he's
his
just
way.
fantastic. He looks slimmer, he looks fitter, he looks ready, he looks injury
And not only that,
free.
there's extra motivation for all these players, it being a World Cup
The
year.
World Cup is on...
100%.
Mano, prior to him getting injured
100%.
at United, had broken into the England team, was doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the talent is there. The commitment is there. It's one thing you can't say
And he's a
about
boy.
Mano.
He's been here for like 15 years. He's
Yeah,
a boyhood
exactly.
United
He's a
fan. He's
boyhood-
from Stockport.
Yeah. It's probably where
Why
he
is
was
he going
talking about.
Spurs?
He was talking about Rashford in terms of that's the last player that you've seen break through. He is the new one, that in the sense of breaking through
and staying.
You can actually see him doing something. Yeah, Man United have got to do a lot to keep him. That's all I'll say. Because
I'm not so sure. I don't think he'd be agitating away for a move.
I don't think it. Why would he want to move away? I don't see any reason why he want to move away.
He'll be one of those players.
He
who
needs
will
to sign
wanna,
a new deal. That needs to happen in the next couple months.
He'll be one of those players. He's a homegrown lad. He'll be one of those. Be a catalyst in pushing the club forward.
Let's hope so.
This is a big season for United.
Let's hope
You know what I
so.
mean? They want to throw off
Scott McTominay. They got rid of him quickly, and now look what he's done. He's done wonders. So I hope, like I said, I hope they don't do the same. They seem
in mainly situation and McTominay's situation are very, very different. They're very, very different. But I think we've pretty much covered all the news for today. Kwame, Laurie, it was a pleasure to have you.
As
pleasure
always.
to be back on again.
Thank you.
Going through all the latest news. Remember, we are live at 5 every weekday, Monday to Friday. So we will be back live on this channel in 24 hours time. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure you do, all the usual stuff. Support us, or you can, get really angry with us. Either way. We'll see you next week.